Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Margaret. Margaret was 68 years old, independent, organized, and known in her family for remembering absolutely everything. Birthdays, appointments, recipes, conversations from years ago. If someone forgot a detail, they asked Margaret. Her daughter once joked, "Mom remembers things better than my phone does." But then, slowly, things started changing. At first, it seemed harmless. Margaret began misplacing small items. She repeated stories she had already told. Sometimes she walked into a room and forgot why she was there. Her family brushed it off. They thought it was stress, fatigue, or simply part of getting older. Then one afternoon, Margaret drove to a grocery store she had visited for nearly 20 years. On the drive home, she suddenly felt confused about where she was going. That moment frightened her, and it frightened her family even more. They began wondering whether something serious was happening to her memory. But after a detailed review with her doctor, another possibility appeared. Several medications Margaret had been taking every single day were affecting her thinking, focus, and mental clarity. And after her treatment plan was adjusted carefully and gradually, something remarkable happened. The fog slowly began lifting. Her focus improved, her conversations became sharper, her confidence started returning. Now, I want to be very clear about something before we continue. This video is not about fear, and I am absolutely not telling you to stop your medications. Many medications save lives and improve quality of life. But what I am saying is this: if you are over 60, your brain becomes more sensitive to certain medications and medication combinations. And sometimes, symptoms people blame on aging may actually deserve a closer look. Today I want to walk you through some of the most common medications and medication patterns that may affect memory, alertness, and cognitive function in older adults. And please stay with me until the end, because the most important part is not one medication by itself. It's what happens when several of them are combined together. Let's begin. Number 9. Nighttime allergy and sleep medications. This is one of the most common hidden problems I see. Many adults over 60 take some type of nighttime sleep aid or allergy medication. It feels harmless because it's available without a prescription, but many of these products contain ingredients with something called anticholinergic effects. That means they may interfere with acetylcholine, one of the brain's key chemical messengers involved in memory, learning, attention, and mental sharpness. When people are younger, the brain often compensates more easily. But after 60, the brain becomes more sensitive to anything that reduces mental clarity. And the difficult part is that the effects may happen slowly. Someone begins feeling groggy in the morning, then a little forgetful, then mentally slower during conversations. But because the change is gradual, many people never connect it to the little nighttime pill they've been taking for years. What makes this even trickier is that these ingredients often appear in products labeled PM, nighttime, or sleep formula. Many people don't even realize they are taking a sedating medication regularly. If this sounds familiar, don't panic, but do check labels carefully and ask your doctor or pharmacist whether the product is still appropriate for your age and health situation. Sometimes small changes can make a surprisingly big difference in mental clarity. Number 8. Long-term acid reflux medications. Millions of people take reflux medications every morning, and for many adults, these medications are important and helpful. But here's the concern. Some people stay on them for years without ever reviewing whether they still need them or whether monitoring is necessary. Your stomach acid actually plays an important role in helping absorb nutrients like vitamin B12 and magnesium. And low vitamin B12 levels may contribute to fatigue, numbness, low energy, poor concentration, and memory problems. Now, I want to say something important here. This does not mean reflux medication automatically causes memory decline. The research is still debated, and many people use these medications safely for years. But long-term use should still be reviewed thoughtfully. If you've been taking one daily for a long time, ask your doctor a few simple questions. Do I still need this medication every day? Should my vitamin levels be checked? Is there a lower dose that might still work? Could lifestyle adjustments reduce my symptoms? For some people, eating smaller evening meals, avoiding late-night snacks, reducing trigger foods, or raising the head of the bed slightly may help naturally reduce reflux symptoms. Again, never make changes abruptly without medical guidance, but asking questions is smart. Number 7, bladder control medications. This topic deserves much more attention than it gets. Bladder urgency and frequent nighttime urination can seriously affect quality of life, especially after 60. So when someone receives medication that finally gives relief, of course they continue taking it. The issue is that some older bladder medications may also affect the brain. These medications may contribute to dry mouth, constipation, sleepiness, slower thinking, or mental fog in certain older adults. And because these symptoms overlap with what many people think of as normal aging, the medication is often never questioned. That's what makes this so important. Sometimes people spend years assuming their memory changes are simply age-related when medications may be contributing to the problem. If you take medication for bladder urgency and you've noticed increasing forgetfulness or mental slowing, bring it up directly with your doctor, not with fear, with curiosity. There may be newer options or treatment approaches that are easier on cognitive function for some people. Number 6, medications for anxiety and sleep. This category is important because many adults first began these medications during stressful periods in life, sometimes after loss, sometimes after severe anxiety, sometimes after long periods of insomnia. And for many people, these medications truly helped. But over time, especially in older adults, certain sedating medications may begin affecting memory, reaction time, balance, alertness, and mental sharpness. Some people describe feeling emotionally flat. Others describe feeling disconnected or mentally slower than they used to feel. The challenge is that the longer someone takes these medications, the harder it may feel to imagine functioning without them. That's why it's extremely important never to stop them suddenly. Instead, the right approach is to review them carefully with a doctor and ask whether the current treatment plan still makes sense. For some people, lower doses, gradual tapering, sleep therapy, stress reduction, improved routines, or alternative treatments may help reduce long-term dependence safely. And sometimes simply reviewing all medications together reveals combinations that may be increasing fatigue and brain fog more than expected. Number 5, statins. Now I want to handle this topic carefully because statins help many people reduce cardiovascular risk. For many adults, they are important medications and absolutely appropriate. But some people notice mental fog or memory changes after starting certain statins or increasing the dosage. Research on this remains mixed, and not everyone experiences these effects. But here's the important point. If something changes after starting a medication, it deserves a conversation. Too many adults dismiss symptoms because they assume they're imagining things or because they don't want to question treatment. But your experience matters. If you notice changes in focus, memory, or mental clarity after starting a medication, speak up respectfully and ask whether adjustments should be reviewed. Sometimes another medication option, another dose, or another explanation may exist. Good healthcare should involve discussion, not silence. Number 4, older antidepressants like amitriptyline. This medication is commonly used not only for mood, but also for nerve discomfort, headaches, sleep problems, and chronic pain. The challenge is that in older adults, it may carry strong anticholinergic effects. And once again, those effects may influence memory, focus, and alertness over time. What makes this difficult is that the changes are often subtle. A person may simply feel less mentally sharp. Conversations become harder to follow. Finding words becomes more difficult. Multitasking feels exhausting. And because these symptoms develop gradually, people often assume it's just part of aging. But medications can sometimes contribute more than people realize. If you're over 60 and taking an older antidepressant, it may be worth discussing whether your current treatment is still the best fit for your stage of life and overall health goals. Number 3, strong sedating medications used in care settings. This is a conversation many families never expect to have. Sometimes older adults in hospitals, rehabilitation centers, nursing homes, or memory care facilities become restless, confused, agitated, or difficult to manage. And in some situations, strong sedating medications may be introduced quickly. Now, there are situations where these medications are necessary, but families should still ask questions and stay informed, because confusion in older adults may sometimes be triggered by dehydration, infection, pain, loneliness, sleep disruption, medication interactions, or sudden changes in environment. Sedation alone may not address the real issue. If someone you love is in a care setting and suddenly seems much more withdrawn, sleepy, flat emotionally, or mentally slower after medication changes, ask for a clear explanation of why the medication was started and what the long-term plan is. Older adults deserve careful, individualized care, and families deserve transparency. Number 2, paroxetine. Paroxetine is an antidepressant in the SSRI family, but unlike some other medications in the same category, it has stronger anticholinergic properties. For older adults, that may increase the likelihood of side effects like dry mouth, constipation, fatigue, mental fog, or slower thinking. This doesn't mean the medication is wrong for everyone, but it does mean adults over 60 should review it carefully with their physician, especially if cognitive symptoms appear after starting treatment. Sometimes another medication in the same category may provide similar emotional support with fewer cognitive concerns. Any changes, however, should always happen gradually and under medical supervision. And now we arrive at the most important point in this entire video. Number 1, medication stacking. This is where many people become surprised, because often the biggest problem is not one medication by itself. It's the combination of several medications together. One pill for sleep, one for allergies, one for reflux, one for bladder urgency, one for nerve discomfort, one for anxiety, one over-the-counter nighttime medication, one occasional pain reliever. Individually, each medication may seem reasonable, but together, especially when several have anticholinergic or sedating effects, they may create a significant burden on the brain. And this happens more often than people realize because many older adults see multiple doctors and use over-the-counter products that are never fully reviewed together. One doctor may not know everything another doctor prescribed, and many people forget to mention non-prescription medications completely. That's why medication reviews are so important after 60, not once, regularly. Here's what I personally recommend discussing with your doctor or pharmacist. First, make a complete list of everything you take, including vitamins, supplements, sleep aids, allergy medications, and occasional nighttime products. Second, schedule a medication review specifically focused on cognitive side effects and mental clarity. Third, ask whether any medications may be increasing brain fog, fatigue, confusion, or forgetfulness. Fourth, ask whether any medications can safely be reduced, replaced, or simplified. And finally, trust yourself enough to ask questions when something feels different. Many adults assume memory changes are simply an unavoidable part of aging, but sometimes the body is reacting to poor sleep, vitamin deficiencies, dehydration, stress, medication combinations, or medications that no longer fit the body as well as they once did. And in some cases, carefully addressing those factors may improve quality of life significantly. Your brain matters. Your independence matters. Your memories matter. Before you leave today, take a moment and think about your own medicine cabinet. Have you started anything new recently? Have you noticed more brain fog, slower thinking, forgetfulness, or confusion? Have those symptoms ever been reviewed carefully? If not, this week may be a good time to start that conversation. Not from fear, from awareness. Because protecting your brain is not only about avoiding problems later, It's about giving yourself the best chance to stay mentally sharp, independent, confident, and connected to the people you love for as long as possible. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of your mind, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.